Hi, I am Roberta Bella and I would like to welcome you for this presentation. In this presentation, I'd like to show you how easy it is to launch a scan against a website using Acunetix. We start by launching the scan wizard by clicking on the new scan button. In the first step of the wizard, I have a number of options where I can specify what type of scan I would like to run. For this demonstration, I will scan a single URL, testphp.acunetix.com. In the second step of the wizard, the scanner will gather information about the target, such as server banner, target URL, operating system, and web server software. If the target uses custom 404 error pages, the scanner will automatically try to find a matching pattern, which in this case there is no need. The web technology being used is also automatically detected. Such information is crucial for the scanner to determine what tests to run against the target system, so the scan is more targeted and takes less time to finish. In the third step, we have the crawling options. The crawling stage is a very important part of the web scanning. If all content is not crawled properly, then the scan results are incorrect. Most of the time, there is no need to change the crawler default settings. In fact, for this demonstration, we will leave all options as default. In the scan options step, one must select the scanning profile. The scanning profile contains a list of vulnerabilities for which the target will be scanned for. Example, one can select a predefined XSS scanning profile to scan the target for cross-site scripting vulnerabilities only. For this demonstration, we will use the default profile, which means we will be scanning the target for all vulnerabilities. One should also select the scanning mode. There are 3 different scanning modes. By clicking on the help link, one can get an overview of the difference between the 3 scanning modes. For this scan, we will use heuristic mode. We will also enable port scanning to port scan our web server and Accusensor technology. You can read more about Accusensor technology by clicking on the highlighted link. In the login step of the wizard, one can configure HTTP authentication or HTML authentication. The site I will be scanning contains a login form and I would like the scanner to automatically log in and scan the protected site. For HTML authentication, we have to create a login sequence. The login sequence is like a macro recording. First, we have to show the scanner how to log into the website's protected area. Specify a username and a password, and we are logged in. It is important also to specify a restricted link, which usually is the logoff link. This is very important as the scanner will crawl that link and log out the session. To do so, we click on Select Restricted Link and click on the logout link. We can save the login sequence and proceed. In the last stage of the scan wizard, we have the scan summary. Here we can see the scanning profile, which will be used to scan the target, and here we have some target information. Once we click finish, the scan will start automatically. We can confirm that Accusensor technology is running from the scan information section. As we can see, a list of files present in the website is already generated by the scanner. The crawler is still crawling the website, but Accusensor generates the list of files directly from the server. In the scan information section, we have more details about the scan, such as at what stage the scan is. Also, one can notice that alerts are already being populated, as this is a real-time process. Once the scan is finished, let's have a look at the amount of information Acunetix reports. For example, this SQL injection reported from Accusensor technology. It reports the affected file, the line of code, the SQL query used for the SQL injection. We have several other information like the HTTP headers, and we have also a detailed description of the vulnerability. Apart from web vulnerabilities, Acunetix also reports other details, such as list of open ports on the server. Once the web server is port scanned, if a running network service is detected, security checks are launched against the detected network service. In this case, the DNS service running on this server is vulnerable to DNS cache poisoning. Acunetix also gathers a lot of information about each file crawled in the website. For example, let's take a look at this file, card.php. We have general file information, referrers, HTTP headers, a list of inputs available in this file, the actual source, HTML structure analysis, For example, we can even see client scripts running on this file and much more information. Once ready from analyzing the results, we can also generate a report from the scan result. The reporter has several built-in reporting templates. Let's have a look how to generate a PCI compliance report. Click on Generate Report, we select the PCI version 1.2, we select the scan, and we generate the report. The report is generated, and here you have the compliance report.